You can
Is
wait.
it just whenever?
Oh, anyway.
Okay, sounds good. I used to believe hunger was an issue contained mostly to developing countries, and it was someplace not very close to home. It started to feel real when I bumped into an old friend of mine who informed me that he struggled to reach one meal a day. So this led us into picking our topic that we were talking about, and I started the journey into research, and immediately I was overwhelmed with frustration and confusion. I stumbled onto this site, and it was the Oxford organization, and they are dedicated in fighting poverty. And they reported that 17% of food has increased in our productions, which is about 2,800 calories per person a day that we have available. So I was really confused that we have all these resources, yet we don't have access to them, and 1 billion people are chronically malnourished. It didn't add up to me. And so we, as a community and as individuals, should be trying harder to conserve our food and to make more attempts in feeding the hungry. We need to remove this illusion that hunger is strictly overseas, because I'm here to tell you that right here and right now there are people outside of our door and they need our help. Right here in Fargo, we have an organization called the Emergency Food Pantry, and this last year alone, 50,000 individuals received food. This could be a classmate, this could be a coworker, it could be anyone. And the saddest part is that half of those people were children. And so we need to show compassion to our neighbors. And the goal we have set today is to show you that through our research and statistics that this is a problem. But we want to equip you with methods of food management and ways that you yourself can make donations. But before walking you through solutions to these issues, I want to show you what exactly you are facing. Hunger is defined as a feeling of discomfort or weakness due to lack of food. I know we've all felt that periodically. This class runs through dinner time, of course, but I'm talking about a sustained and ongoing hunger. On the other hand, we have food waste. Food waste is defined as any food that has been discarded, lost, or uneaten. And frustratingly enough, the USDA reported that this last year, 27% of our food produced has been wasted. That's over a fourth of all food production. And now, hopefully, you have a little better idea of the problems that we are going over so that your classmate John can talk to you a bit on how these problems were created.
Like Maria mentioned, I'll be covering just a few of the issues that causes food waste and hunger, unnecessary hunger. Starting off, the society we live in makes food very easy to get to, especially for those who have a little bit of money. But for many unfortunate individuals, even a little bit of money is tough to obtain, and in essence, so is the food. For those who have the ease of buying food whenever they want, they tend to overbuy. Although it seems like common sense in order to not overbuy food, it's actually tougher to moderate your purchases and moderate your purchases to an appropriate amount. But since most people are unconcerned or unaware of food waste and food management, they overbuy food and are generally unable to eat the food before it spoils. Along the same lines, organizations and people prepare food for parties and events all the time. Once the party is over, event is over, all the food is simply just thrown away. There are health concern reasons why throwing the food away is more beneficial than donating it. But there are laws to protect those people and organizations who donate the food, and Max will be going over that here soon enough. There are organizations out there with the purpose of feeding the hungry. And the majority of the time, the only way for these organizations to receive food is through donations. According to the National Resources Defense Council, only 73% of all food produced in the U.S. is ever eaten. That's roughly 34 million tons of food that's thrown away just because it's simply wasted, and they have no way of getting it to any homeless or hungry people. We have gone over some of the major concerns of food waste and people going hungry. Now we'll go over some of the solutions for food waste and feeding the hungry. There are many ways to eliminate food waste, but one of the simplest ways would be by creating a meal plan at home or in a dorm that can be done with several techniques to include having several people getting together and buying food in bulk. Although buying food in bulk typically leads to food waste, If you get a group of people together and prepare meals that can be divided out for each person every single day, it limits down food waste and gives you a better idea of saving money. Another idea is to simply focus on eating food that will perish before eating the food that won't perish. With that in mind, although eating leftovers is not always the best, making the effort on finishing your leftovers before buying more food will save you money and cut down on waste as well. A process that several households have been doing with their families would be like family members get together and create crock pot meals that they'll freeze and then make it on a certain day of the week. Instead, in general, it's bulk buying again, and it's easy to save money that way as well. I strongly suggest that everyone on campus take some of these methods and apply them to the residents to help eliminate hunger. For more solutions, I'm going to pass it on to my classmate, Max.
Thank you, John. Now, I'm going to tell you about a couple ideas we had that could help eliminate hunger. The best way to fight hunger is through donations. There are countless ways we can donate. I'm going to talk about 2 examples. One is a group of University of Maryland students taking the initiative to collect extra food from dining facilities on campus and bringing that food to homeless shelters or food banks. Every school, including us here at NDSU, should start something like this. Despite our dining center's best efforts, lots of food is still thrown away every single day. Another idea many people have is restaurants or grocery stores donating their leftover and expired food to people in need. But this is usually shot down because common belief is that this is against the law. In reality, the Citizen Times tells us a federal law was signed in 1996 by President Clinton that protects restaurant owners who, with the best of intentions, wanted to feed people in need. There was a burst of publicity after the passage of the law, but ever since, this law has languished in obscurity. With no government brochures to promote it, and no attempts by public officials to talk it up, grocery stores and restaurants continue to fear the same liability this law was supposed to solve. Millions of tons of food are wasted for mere lack of publicity about a great law. I encourage you to mention this law to any restaurant owners or managers you might know. To summarize everything we have talked about, we need to be more concerned with food waste and make better attempts to feed the hungry. Today, we talked about the problem of food wasting and hunger. Many people right here in Fargo, including a lot of students, can't afford to meet their nutritional demands. Many others have more than they need and throw this excess food away. Then we said what causes these problems and what we as a community can do to help eliminate them. Now, I want you all to think about all the money you or your family spends on food that ends up in the garbage. Now think about if the same amount of food, this same amount of money was used to help those in need. We all need to concentrate on not overbuying or preparing too much food. Any excess food we do have should be donated to those in need rather than thrown away. These are a couple easy things each and every one of us needs to start doing. If you don't believe us, go to the World Health Organization's website. One of their leading scientists, Dr. Alexander Nork, says that food shortages will be the biggest problem mankind faces in the next 100 years.